Today I'm going to talk about that as Chinese. I 12 years ago I loved America. I loved the Western cultures and those kind of things, the Western world. And I that time I didn't like China. Even I'm Chinese. I am Macau local. Macau local in born in Macau, Chinese 100%. But I still didn't like China that time. I will tell you why. And the most important thing is that Macau was the past colony of Portugal, which uh, were full of, you know, full of Western media and Western mind and democracy or those kind of things from the Western media, Hong Kong, the yellow, so-called yellow media and those kind of saying bad things to China, those kind of black mouth to China, those kind of medias like BXX, CXX, those kind of things, and also there were a lot of those kind of media and social media news, fake news, day back to the when I was very young, that kind of era. That's why because that time, you know, at time, no more internet when I was very young, like uh, 10 years to 20 years old, around that kind of things, that kind of era, you know, maybe, 1990 something to 2000, that kind of millennium, that era, before handover to China, it was Portugal. I was fully submerged, immersed in those kind of Western media. So I totally believed it. The Western media normally just said that China was bad. No human rights, no those kind of, no what is not good. The June of the 4th of June, that incident, it was bad or something kind of things. So, but when the time goes by, bit by bit, when you understand more about China, maybe the fastest is 3 years for understanding China, and you will notice that you will shift to not liking China, and you will love China more and more. The percentage of loving China will dramatically be increased, and dropping dramatically for the hating America and Western culture. So as time goes by, as you know more, as you grow up gradually, when you are getting older and knowing more about the international affairs, seeing more things than you will know. So I will tell you. I remember that time because the soft power, there were a lot of technologies, very high advanced technology by the West, and including the Japan. I played the Japan, the console, Japanese consoles, like the game consoles like PS1, PS2 that time, and the Sega and Nintendo, those kind of things, attracted me a lot. And in China, there were no, and because the economy was bad in China, that time was very falling behind comparing to the West. I can say it's facts. At that time, they in China they had no soft power, no more output, even the technology, no Huawei phone, no CPU. Now I'm using the Chinese CPU. That time, no more those kind of CPUs. Even the TV, electric appliances were very falling behind and very outdated, and they just copied before because they didn't have, so it's copied from the West or Japan. So my home, all of the appliances were Japanese and Western brands. That's why, when you were using those kind of things, seeing those kind of things so much, so your brain was brainwashed by those kind of media, social media. When you also saw those kind of media telling you that China is evil and bad, and you will believe that because there was no internet. When the TV looping and looping every day, so you just believed it. Because when you were young, you had no money to go to America or to the West or to China, because I was always stay in Macau that time. I was always staying in Macau and not going to China at that time, because my mind had a stereotype thinking China was dirty and not civilized, because I believed the media. That's why, I didn't go China as well, and didn't go to America, didn't go to the Western world to see. So I just because I didn't have a great life experience, so I just believe the media. Because Hong Kong media that time was controlled by the West, and Macau also, maybe a little bit better, but still the Western domination. That's why maybe I can say that time maybe 80% around, or even more, about China negative. Just 20% of the positive things about China. Even that time I'm Chinese. I was Chinese. That time I'm Chinese, and I also got brainwashed because looping, and looping. That's the story I'm telling you about. And you think no more technology thing, even phone. I use the Nokia, Sony, right? Those kind of phones and computer, Intel, AMD, and also Sony, TV, PlayStation, and Hitachi, Panasonic. Those appliances. That's right. Your surrounding, your cars, Mazda, and the Toyota, those cars or Volkswagen around you, no more Chinese products, no more, especially the high technology products. And McDonald's everywhere, so you believe them, so you love them. When I was young, that time I also was addicted to the hip hop music. I used to listen to Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Biggie, Notorious B.I.G., Outkast, and Rihanna, so on, and those kind of hip hop, American black culture. That time I was so immersed to that culture. I researched a lot. That's why I loved USA a lot. I was thinking that I would go to USA one day. So that time when I was at the university, and I joined the summer camp counselor program, and in the 2008, I successfully took a summer camp to the United States, working in Vermont. The upper upper places of the New York, the New York upper that kind of state near Canada is Vermont. I was working there as camp counselor. That time, some kind of campus got the hepatitis B, and I was afraid that I would be infected. So I told to my supervisor that I would like to wear a mask. That time she told me that you couldn't wear a mask because you would make, some kind of what to say, how to say, some kind of panicked, or some kind of not good the things to allow announcing the emergency, those kind of scenario. People will think that there are some problems, that she would get me to wear a mask. And she told me, if you insisted to wear a mask, you had to go to Macau, and you cannot work in here. you need to directly go to Macau, and the visa, because I got the working visa, so I couldn't stay in the United States. If you left the job, you even couldn't travel in the United States. You needed to directly to go to Macau. That's why you can see how much human right I had that time. Right? Human right? No. Freedom? No. Just the Western world. That time I could feel the Western world control you. Right? That is one of the examples. And also, I also met some kind of other countries' councillors as well. They were from France, Colombia, Venezuela, and Britain, etc. And I saw them. The salaries were different. Mine was a little bit lower. They were higher. Why? It's unfair, right? Because I'm Chinese, I think. So you can see those kind of things. And also, one more example is that when I was passing by the on in the streets of New York, the traffic light, and I was passing, and that time there was a girl driving a car very fast, and suddenly, it is the zebra line that she should have stopped for me and yielded for me, but she just pushed acceleration for very big and suddenly braked it. So, and she pointed the finger to me and laughed very, rudely at me, and said saying something, and then she left. So she was intending to do those kind of things to mock me, to those kind of things. American always do it. When I was in United States, I saw a lot of those kind of instances. People were walking by and always saying something, nonsense to me, and say hi, hi, hello, you Chinese, wow, just like making jokes, always pick on me, those kind of things. That's very weird, the Western culture. So that time I totally understood that the Western world is like this. I got the bad feeling from that time. And moreover, when this is the in 2008 instance, and also in 2017, 2017, I went to New Zealand. That time my job was those kind of some kind of police job that time, and I declared that I was a police, and in New Zealand custom, the border, while I was arriving, and that time the custom checked me, told me I needed to go to the a specific place to check for my the scan and check a lot, and also even I needed to give the phone for them to check if WeChat, WhatsApp, Facebook, all kind of things. They checked, and and she said if you didn't allow us for the check, and then you couldn't stay in New Zealand, you need to go back to Macau as well. So that time I just I don't know, and I couldn't refuse. Otherwise, I needed to go back to Macau. So it was not great. And he told me 2 hours for checking. They were checking those and this and asking, who's that guy on WeChat or WhatsApp, and what did he say, and what were you talking to them? Why you was in here? Those kind of thing, asking a lot, and all the privacy shown to them, right? Showed all the privacy to them, the WeChat, WhatsApp, all kind of things, the people, and Even the password I gave them to check, and she told me, I mean, she took the phone in a private room, so I couldn't see anything. I was waiting there, and the phone was lost. The phone was on their side. So what privacy I have? What is the privacy by the West? In the West, no privacy. So that time I could feel it, you know, and many cases, and moreover, you know, so that your overall feeling towards the West is gradually dropping and dropping, and Chinese that time already is much better and better, because you got from that time in 2016. That time already I bought the Huawei P9, so it's a very nice phone. Even now I gave it to my mother to use. 6 years been using, still working. And that time I used that phone. So I was addicted to the Chinese technology. I was attracted by the Chinese technologies. I was amazed by it. So Chinese technology also can, make you like my country more and more. And Chinese technology, CPU, GPU, now all have. I'm using 3A 4000 Long-Sun CPU, and also, Jinjiang Micro GPU, all RAM SSD, hard disk, those kind of things are Chinese brands, not only made in China, but Chinese brands and Chinese CPU, GPU technology, all kind of things. Chinese cars, Chinese electric appliances, higher, and TCL, Skyworth TV, Greek air conditioning, even in Europe, and I saw the many Chinese brands of the air conditioning and electric appliances. That's why which makes you love China more and more. Even the cars now, all kind of things exporting to the world. When 20 years ago, there was no. So that kind of things which makes you gradually love China, increasing the love rate percentage more and more. And nowadays the United States, just sanction and doing nonsense, sanctions and confront with other countries, and not letting you develop. It's kind of hegemony and imperialism, those kind of things, not letting you develop. That's not good. And China is promoting the human destiny community, which is all the human in this world is the same, inside the same destiny in the future, to develop everything, to share everything in this world is the same destiny in the same community, which is very good. And also promoting one belt, one road, and investment bank to help the poor, to build the infrastructure, and to build the 5G by Huawei, ZTE, those kind of things, which is good. And Huawei 5G, there is no proof of those kind of backdoor or those kind of things, but America just banned it, which is ridiculous. And now you can see, China is promoting cooperation, win-win situation, but United States is promoting confrontation, wars, and hegemony, and not letting you to develop, and just sanction, making war, making violence, the guns, mass shooting, all those kind of things, which makes you gradually don't like the not liking America and the Western world, especially you can see with China. When I was young, I thought that there the internet was not open. There is a firewall, the Great Firewall, right? Great Wall. But I tell you why. The Great Wall, the firewall, was invented by USA and the West. So, so in the United States, even at the university, there are some kind of firewalls as well by Cisco, Palo Alto. They also filter a lot of things. So China filter their things in their countries. Why not? Every country has their system. So America should not interfere with other countries' systems, political system as well. So why they just do it? Right? So in China, Google, Facebook, those kind of company, Twitter, because those companies don't comprise the Chinese national security law. So they just left China by themselves, not China abandoning them. So it's different stories from between the America and China. America just banned Huawei without any proof of the back door. But for one of the other very famous American brand is uh starting from C. You know what I'm saying, right? Got the back door. All the news from internet, you can see the back door, and also the starting from I, that very famous phone. Also got the backdoor or eavesdropping to the German premier, right? That the news on the net. Also, Snowden, the former American, FBI or those kind of staff, I also said the American got a lot of backdoors. Even the Pompeo, the former, also the intelligence member, right? Also said the American likes to cheat, to steal, to making story, right? Those kind of things. That's why you see. Not I'm saying that is the news. You can see the news on that. There are a lot of those kind of news. So gradually making you not liking America and loving China much as time goes by, of those kind of above examples I have set, and I will keep saying and let you know, right? And moreover, and what else is that? Nowadays, the Chinese technology, the soft power, even the games with the Yuan the Genshin Impact, those kind of games now are exporting. So with this kind of soft power, high speed train, and the world's best e-payment, Alibaba, Alipay, WeChat Pay, those kind of software and social media, your games, which also makes you love more China and more. Before there were no, now having more, so you love China is very normal. And also, yeah, one thing you need to know, if you want to know your country, know the fact, you need to go around the world. Because when I was getting older and older, I got money, so I worked for money and I traveled a lot of places. I went to Europe, Eastern, Southern, Northern, and Western, all kinds of European countries I went, and South Africa, New Zealand I went, America I also went, Chile I also went to South America. So when you went all the countries, you will know more about the world's view. The world's view, you will get more about those kind of things. So you will know more about the fact. And also, while I am getting older, I also go a lot of China. Before I didn't go China, so I didn't know. So once you go to China and go to other worlds, comparing those kind of countries, so you will know the fact. China is not that kind of dirty or something. It's like now it's very high advanced and innovative now. They have great inventions and all the innovation that things is around the world's top three now. So all the physics, all kind of things very top now. When you go to China, you will see the technology and the street is very new and clean. You can see all those kind of foreigners who go to China also say that it's very normal. And also, those kind of things. When you go to America, you go to New York City, those subway, you can see very dirty. And that time I was taking subway, that time I saw a lot of mouses, over 20 mouses there, and the people were peeping on the ground everywhere arbitrarily. So even in Europe, it's the same. So it's very dirty and very old subway systems. And those kind of things, street is dirty. And New Zealand, those kind of very smelly urine smell everywhere. And beggars begging with the tent lying on the street. So a lot of those kind of things, so that which makes you your pro-America percentage dropping, and pro-Chinese, pro-China percentage and mindset will dramatically increase. So that's what I'm talking about. And also there are a lot of fake news that by the West and BXX, CXX, those kind of fake news just promote the fake things, making story like the Xinjiang, Kato, or those kind of things, and there are no. All the things they just made up. So they are not the story, they are just storyteller. They are not news reporter. So when you go to China, it's totally different. So you will thinking that now the Western world just blackmail China, everything, just saying something bad or something, news. Don't believe the news. You need to see when you are getting older, when you have 20 to 30, not on the 10 or to 20 that era, you will understand that you will have the very strong critical thinking. So when I was young, I didn't try that because at that time I didn't have the great critical thinking. My mindset was still naive. While you are getting older, it's like now 20, 30, 30 something now. So I understand more. I actively, and now the internet is very, very rich and developing, very good, fast. So it's very convenient to go to Google, Baidu to search the fact, and you need to fact check. So everything you check it, the truth now. Before, I was very easy to be cheated, by the Western medias. So now I go by myself, go to the internet to search by myself, so I understand the truth. So now I know the Western media is just lying. You just go to YouTube, you see a lot of those things, the real story. So now it's different. The world is different. So the Western media couldn't lie again, because now they cannot brainwash me. I can search by myself to see the facts. So you can see a lot of those kind of things. And when you see Xinjiang, I went to China, I see a lot of things. The communism is not the bad things, and they just promote that the communisms, the Chinese characteristics, socialism is the bad things, but in fact it's very great because they serve the people, they care about people. So when I was in China, I got the social security. And when I was in the hospital, that time I also got, before I didn't believe Chinese hospital, thinking that it was very dangerous, risky. But now, recently I got the surgery in China, because in Macau, I didn't believe in Macau. I don't believe in Macau's hospital and, surgeries, the technique. Because Macau, the cases is very few case when you want to do the surgery. But in China, because the amount of people, so when you do the surgery, they have a lot of experience. One day they maybe do maybe over 10 surgeries, but in Macau maybe just 2 weeks, one surgery, one case. So you can see, comparing to comparatively, you will choose China because they got experience and a lot of hands-on experience and very good high technology. Now they all homegrown, not importing from the West, and they get to their own technology. That's why they understand it very well. So you believe it. So I went there, and then it was fast. Everything was fast. Even you go to surgery, buy a car, buy a house. I also got a house in China. So you understand more. I got the social security, and then you got, hospital for very, very low price, and everyone can afford it. But in the Western America, you need to buy the insurance, the medical insurance. Otherwise, you couldn't go to hospital. Everything is very high. If you just pay by self, you cannot afford it. The inflations now, in the United States, they just add up the interest rate and net all the countries to buy the debt. So even their alliance, Europe, the American making the war, so every hard money just go back to the United States. So they use this strategies. Even in Japan, they just add the interest rate to Japan now, so you can see the money, the Japanese dollar the yen is very, very low now, the reckon low. So that's why America is using that to, get the money, or to make the world very messy and making war in Iraq, Middle East, so that the money will go to America. That's not good. So now when you are older, you see more things and seeing more those not the poisonous media and in Hong Kong, that yellow media, those kind of Apple media. You don't see that. You see all the normal stuff, then you will know all those kind of things. When you are older, you also know those kind of things. And USA just created to invoke a Russian to make the special military operation, but in fact it's the Western news just blackmail Russia. But in fact it's there were Russian tribes on the Ukraine, the eastern Ukraine. So the so-called Azov neo-Nazi people in Ukraine just hurt and killed all those Russian tribes there. So the Russia couldn't bear it, and Russian just came to there with some military soldiers and just stand by. But that time, Ukraine, that kind of soldiers, I saw a lot of news saying that on the internet, also saying that the first fire was from the Azov, the neo-Nazi soldiers, to shoot the military, the Russian military and soldiers first, so that the Russians got this special military operation. So the Western world will not tell you about that. They will say the Russians shot the first fire, but in fact it's the Azov Russian neo-Nazi soldiers shot the fire first. So the Western world will just twist everything, just making story and to make Russia bad and making Russia the evil things. But in fact it's the NATO expanded a lot over the territory, around the territory of in Russia, which was very dangerous, right? And also, Ukraine was trying to have, nuclear weapon, saying that kind of things. That's very threat to Russia. And the Russia is not the Soviet Union already, so why still have NATO even now? So there are a lot of problems, and the Western world every day doing that same things is not good. And moreover, those kind of ridiculous things is about the democracy system. The Western democracy, the American democracy is now failing. I can tell. Why? You can see my videos now I'm playing. You will check out more about what kind of things I'm talking about. I'll just briefly talk about that. Because you can see now in UK, There's just for 1 or 2 months that kind of new premiere, right? Because of the populism. People who don't know politics and just go to vote and elect those kind of nonsense idiots to actors can be the leaders. That's very ludicrous, and they don't know everything about politics. Even me, I can be a leader. I can say I am even more even better than them. I saw a lot of those. I've been seeing a lot of those kind of political system, political affairs, those kind of things. I researched a lot. That's why I'm telling you about these things. That's why it's very ridiculous. The world is very unfair. Because of the evil Western, those kind of American democracies now is failing. It's just turning something white to black, and all the people don't know about politics and vote all the idiots to be a leader. So they letting the countries to fail and to fall down and to make confrontations. So it's very great for Germany to go to China recently, right? To sign the contract to buy the business, the trade or something, to let China to buy the Airbus. It's very good. This is very cooperation trading. It's very equal, right? But they talk some kind of parties, because they have 2 parties or 3 parties in the country, is not good. Everything is not sustainable. Once other party comes, takes over, and then every contract will be terminated. So it's not good. It's not sustainability. Not sustainable. It's not kind of sustainability. So it's like, because of the political issue, they will just saying you not good and not making business, and to decouple with other countries and interfere with other countries' internal affairs, like Taiwan's internal affairs, totally in China's stuff. But Pelosi went to China. Why? And saying USA saying something that she you support one China policy, but Pelosi went to China. What's the thing? So everything is saying something right to black to white is inconsistent. It's just liar. But in China, the Communist Party, the Chinese characteristic socialism containing capitalism, and then also the socialism mixing together, and now is improving. It's not the Soviet Union, that kind of communism. It's different. They have been improving it. Time goes by, but you can see every country has their own problems. Every political systems have their own problems, have their own pros and cons. But the problem is, now American democracy is getting more problems. You can seeing more problems now comparing to the Chinese characteristic socialisms. It's better, fewer problems, and more good things now of the Chinese characteristic socialisms. Now you can see very obviously all the things sustainable and promoting win-win cooperation, trading, and no war, and very developing technology those very rapidly. Every infrastructure is very new. The bridges and high-speed train. Even now we have the C919, those kind of things, which very great to soft power games, and the great planes now we have. Everything is great now. So I can see what kind of things now you have, right? American democracy is failing. I can tell you. And they tend to interfere with other countries, but China is different. They won't promote their socialism or communism to other countries. But why American promotes the democracy to other countries and force other people to use their countries? I think they should be win-win and respect other countries' political systems and respect other countries, and to make to respect their differences and seek similarities. That will be good. And Moreover, right? Uh, Also, as this kind of instance, so when I'm getting older, now I love my country more and more. When you know more about those kind of things, so you will understand more. And American people, they also because the American people, as I said, they seldom go to China, go to other countries, so they won't see. They just believe their media, so that they might just thinking China is bad and evil or something because they are brainwashed by the media. So it's very crucial. Crucial thing is that the media, social media, the Facebook, those kind of things is very, those kind of things very critical for brainwashing people's mind. If they brainwash the always saying something China good, 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 positive, I think now they love China, right? So this media control all the things. And one more thing is that saying about the firewall, right? China's firewall, no, they can go to other countries' websites very freely. I also visit the University of Vermont stuff and Russian's government official websites and University of Harvard, every other websites I can visit in China. So where is the firewall, right? So no firewall because Facebook, Twitter, those kind of companies are not obeying the Chinese security, national security, or cyber security law. So they couldn't allow them to make the company in China. That's why they couldn't reach those kind of websites, which is very normal. And that other website you can visit freely, no problem, right? So just like Huawei, you couldn't buy Huawei in USA. You couldn't use the Huawei service. You couldn't buy the Huawei's firewall router, switch, those kind of network core devices, equipments. You cannot buy it. So even TikTok, those kind of WeChat, or some Chinese app, social media, they got something. They banned some of them. So in the United States, you even couldn't use those kind of Huawei, as I said, those kind of website you couldn't reach. So there is also firewall in USA. So it's the same. I think every country is the same. Every country, also protest their country. So they get national security law. Also the cyber security law. I think USA and every country is the same, having those kind of laws. Even European countries, Japan also got those kind of laws. Also, every country protest their country citizens. So every country is the same, may have backdoors. I think it's the same. Every country have backdoors or intelligence, but only USA is so mean now, pointing that sanction, ban those things, those kind of things, that thing, those things, gay things, blah blah blah, those kind of things. It's not good. But China will just promote more positively. But USA is not just like bullying other countries and other countries, which shows USA now is falling very, very rapidly because they don't have money now. Is the economy is very bad. USA, so they just by provoking the war all over the world to make the money to go to USA, go back to USA, and even betray Europe and Japan. You can see it's kind of the the Nord Stream instant, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say out because YouTube will ban me, right? One thing is that that's why Germany premier went to China, and French Macron also wants to meet presidency, will also want to go to China because of the Nord Stream incident. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, they may just stick to the USA. Now, European countries leaders now are very smart now doing all the things. And in fact, Now they awake. And one more thing is that, yeah, Facebook, right? That time I was posting something, it's like the what the some of the people got hurt and lying on the street, and other pedestrians just pass the passerby effect, also passing by the passerby effect, and they don't help the people who are lying on the street, getting hurt or got crashed by the car and on the street lying. Half an hour passing, no one helps, and then I posted that video on Facebook. That was the story happened in the United States. So I posted something bad about USA, and the Facebook immediately blocked my Facebook, and I couldn't use it. And that time they told me that I needed to give them my passport for verifications that time. So if I didn't give the passport for verification, that account will be permanently banked and closed. So that time I just gave my passport, and so we opened it. So Facebook already got my information. If there are other instances happen, they will just use my informations and my profiles and all my personal information to pass to the FBI or to the police of America to arrest me when I go to America, right, and check me and check up all the things. So they use this kind of strategy. If I don't submit the if I don't submit my passport, they will permanently ban and close my account. So they use this kind of strategies every year. So I don't think all the people like me will just follow the instruction to submit the passport for them. So every year they will close maybe millions of the Facebook accounts of the pro-China and anti-USA accounts. That's why they use these strategies to control the people's mind for pro-China. Even Trump, Facebook also banned and shut down Donald Trump's Facebook account. So Twitter's, right? Those kind of things. What human right? What freedom? So you cannot say every country is the same. No freedom, no true freedom, no human right. So don't say China, USA is the same. Then also, I tell you what, in fact, every country is the same. So if you are in that country, because I am in China, you should love your China. You should love China. When you are in USA, you should love USA. That's very normal, right? Even USA, did a lot of things, bad things like killing people, the indigenous people, the local in America, killing a lot of them. Those kind of indigenous tribes, killing a lot of them and conquer their places. The right people conquered their places and doing a lot of wars. But as America also love their country, so China, as Chinese, also love their country. It's very normal, right? So I think I'm good. I love my country. So when I get older, I know it. I need to love my country. And every country is the same, doing those kind of bad things or good things. Even do some bad things or negative things or wrong things, you need to understand your country. You need to forgive your country because you are one part of members of that country. So you need to love your country. So, and I love my country gradually. And moreover, talking about the 4th of June, when I check on the internet about that 1989 incident, that time, also was color revolution promoted and provoked by the United States, those kind of media, those kind of things. That time was, those kind of students, university students of China in Beijing, provoked by all the Western medias, like in Russians, like in Soviet Union collapsed, also promote provoked by the Western medias, the color revolution all around the world. You can see that was that very not a peaceful protest that time against the Chinese Communism Party in the Tiananmen Square at that time. They were burning the soldiers, and they burned the soldiers, a lot of soldiers and police. The police, I saw a lot of videos on YouTube. Police was burning live on fire and that. So the Western media won't give you to see that CXX, BXX, and just gave you to see the tank and a person standing in front of the tank, but the person finally left. The tank didn't push and accelerate, didn't crush him, but they just didn't tell. The news just didn't tell. The news will just promote the very negative atmosphere for the readers to believe that China is bad and communism is bad, because Chinese is now getting better for the technology, over exiting gradually American stuff. Many fields now China is over passing the level, and technology is passing America stuff, is existing. Their technology and system is better, so they are afraid. They want to rule they want to be superior to the Chinese, superior to the black people. The white supremacy. They want to keep it, maintain it. That's why they just keep you shut up. I know, understand it now. And moreover, so that's when the Hong Kong 2019, that kind of incident, we all know. Now, the people, the protesters, the Americans saying that they are peaceful, but in fact they are not. They are very violent. They burned the old man alive, and the old man now was seriously hurt and burned. All the skin was hurt, but burned. And also one of the old men also was killed by one of the mobsters. I mean, they threw the stone and bricks to the old people's head, and then one of the old people got killed by the mobsters and by the terrorists in Hong Kong day back to 2019. So now we understand it. It's the mobster, it's the rioters, it's the terrorists. So the 1989 incident, the 4th of June, that incident is about the mobster terrorists who kill and burn the Chinese military, soldiers and police. So the Chinese wanted to control this instance, so they got a little bit more, using more violence to control it, use more weapons to control the situation. Otherwise it would be very messy. It's like in other countries it's the same. If in USA if there are those kind of incidents, the mobster all around burning people alive, throwing the bricks everywhere, throwing knives and using the knife to cut the police or hit the police. Even worse, the police will use gun and shoot the people and shoot them, the terrorists that must have died, right? Shot them dead. It's the same every country. It's the same, even worse. If much worse, more worse and worse in the United States comparing to China's the 4th of June. You can see now the gun violence a lot. Even the black people, always innocents got killed and shot by the police. So now you understand more about that. So, it's around 1 hour to conclude. Why I was I was a pro-American people. I was a pro-American person and anti-China before. Now I changed to pro-China, anti-America. Why? Because the first point is you need to understand more, see more, check more about the internet and news. Don't just see one side news. Don't just see one side, the CXX, BXX, those kind of yellow, then the Western fake news. But you need to also see the positive sides and other sides, pro-China, those kind of sides, two sides. You need to see, real know more and try to search more things, fact check your stuff whether it is true or not. Don't believe the media 100%. You need to have the critical thinking. And second thing is that you need to go more other countries. Like you go to China, I'm in Macau, right? So you need to go to mainland China, go to the Western countries and compare, doing some jobs and staying there for long, and following the cultures and the history, political system, that you will know the true fact, and you will turn better, love your country. And the third thing is, the soft power. When your country has more soft powers, like in China now having high technology CPU, GPU, and those kind of, yeah. And you need to the technology, GPU, those things, right? It's very high now, very advanced. Now you all things, even cars, they are all the things they have, and they make vegetable price. So America is afraid that all the high technology GPU, CPU, if Chinese can make it, and that the price will be very low. So they are afraid that they cannot get the big amount of earning, the margin. They cannot mark it up very, very big. The all kind of, high technology things, GPU, C919, the planes now are very cheap. SSD, RAM, those things are very cheap now, very low. Chinese is making those things cheap and dedicating to the world. Everyone can use it in Africa. They can buy the planes and use the CPU, GPU, everything is cheap. Cars, those kind of things. That's why America is afraid and control China, banning China, sanctioning. That's why those kind of things that also make you, because of the soft power raising. Even the movies now, Chinese movie is better. Not only Hollywood movie can change your mind. Now, when I was young, the Hollywood movie already changed my mind, already brainwashed me. Now the Chinese attack back. They have their, kind of, what I'm saying, those kind of things, that hip hop or that kind of thing. I don't touch on the hip hop now. I like the Chinese music, Chinese movies, those kind of software, which is very important. Huawei phone, I'm using Harmony OS, UOS, GPU, Jinjiang Michael, Harmony OS. Now I'm recording this video using my Huawei Mate 40 Pro, Harmony OS 3.0, no Android, no Windows, UOS, Linux, Longson, Chinese CPU, GPU, Jinjiang Michael, those kind of things, all kind of Chinese technology. So high-speed train, and later I also took a plane, ALJ21 to Inner Mongolia, Manzhouli, those kind of things which make you love your country, love China very much. So these points are very crucial for you to love China. So for faster, for 3 years, when you just follow what I'm doing, and then what I am experiencing, you will love China. From the person who anti-China and pro-America will be to anti-America and pro-China. Trust me, you will be like that. And also, you see more, there are more those kind of pro-China YouTubers, KOLs on YouTubes like me, and those other people also having more about this, more, and those kind of peoples like me saying pro-China, saying good things to China, then more and more people would be influenced by me or by other pro-China's YouTubers and KOLs. That's also very crucial. So if they just following my path and doing those kind of things 3 years later, they will be pro-China, from anti-China to pro-China. That's very crucial. And okay, all right. I think it's enough, right? So, soft power is very important. And now I love my countries very much. If people doing the same as me, 3 years may be okay. So in 2012, that time I didn't like China, and in about 4 or 5 years later, as the experiences I've taught, and 4 years later, it's like 2013 or 14 starting, I started to love China because I went more outside and went to inner China mainland, and I understood more and more, and then using more, and China having more high tech law and high technology influence a lot of people, brainwash a lot of people, and you will be very confident and very love your country if you got those kind of power, having soft power, those kind of things. You will love them very much. You will love your country because you are attracted by those technology, and then 10 or 5 years later you will be like me. Okay, see you.